That throughout Super League there will be a video referee at every game, and that only can be a good thing.
Well, it takes all the element of doubt, doesn't it? There's always going to be debate, there's always going to be people who disagree with the way that the game is officiated, but we've got it everywhere we go. It's the only place, Sky Sports, you can watch every game live.
One, move, and square.
There's the first shot through from Alex Walmsley.
Go.
Saints, big favourites, as you'd expect, to win this game. But you know, I spoke to Mike Eccles, the London coach, in the week.
Three now.
They're going to embrace it, they're going to enjoy it, they want to prove people wrong.
Go, Marcus, got there.
If they can do it on the opening night, that would be something.
Well, it'd be a big result if they can come away with anything this evening, but I think the thing for me is they've got to stay together. Doesn't matter what happens during this game, doesn't matter what the scoreboard says, they've got to stick together.
Marcus, push up, go for.
So Bachelor will play the ball.
5.
And there is James Bell.
Will, hold, go.
Darryl Clark, isn't it strange to see Darryl Clark wearing the number 9 in the red V after the retirement of James Roby? And he has got big boots to fill, but Saints, they could have gone for Andy Ackers, they could have gone for Darryl Clark to replace Roby. Clark's the man they chose.
Well, Darryl Clark is in the prime of his career, and obviously at Warrington, I don't know how you would judge whether he would judge it a success or not, but Darryl Clark in this team will feed off the quick play the balls. Obviously he's got people around him who are good defenders, got good engines, will cover him, and he's not going to be doing the type of work I feel he had to do as a Warrington player.
And the bye was with a good run. Parata will always be dangerous. Davis at dummy half. Kick goes up from Meadows and well taken by Tommy Makinson. But a decent start from London, decent first set. It's all about making sure that they have a good start. Fantastic achievement to win at Sheffield, to win at Featherstone, and to win at Toulouse to get promoted to Super League. Let's be honest, no one expected it.
No, when you think about the run that they went on at the back end of the season, they won 9 of the last 10 games, and to go to Toulouse and beat them 18-14 was an enormous achievement, you're right, but it doesn't count for much on the opening day away at St Helens. Talked about discipline, didn't I? You've got to listen to the referee. You cannot afford to hand easy possession over to a team like St Helens.
But it's one of the new rules, isn't it? It's a variation on a theme about markers being square at the play the ball. And the play the ball and the ruck area is something that's going to be clamped down on big time by the referees in 2024. Is Walmsley, first chance now for Saints with the ball. Opening night of Super League here at the TW Stadium.
2, move down, stay square.
Bell, what a player he's been. Unsung hero James Bell for St Helens.
Hands away. He's sitting. Hold.
Clark at dummy half. We'll see a lot of Clark running from dummy half, and held the ball up well for Alex Walmsley. Couple of tackles left in the set, right in front of the post. Clark, it goes to the right. Dodd looking to go on his own, the Saints scrum half. Good defence. Maloney was in there, Butler was in there. Last one, Clark with a little kick through, bobbling around all over the place, and it was well taken in the end by Parata. Did really well, read the situation, the pressure already building from St Helens.
What a smart play close to the line. Darryl Clark puts it on the end of his toe, possibly looking for big Alex Walmsley, but they get the next best thing, and you can see already Dean Parata sucking in the big ones, having to do a lot of defence early on.
Well, eventually comes up with the ball. Tommy Makinson, that's a great chase, great tackle. But a set restart, 6 again. The Saints now will break down the middle with Bell, support on the inside, and that will be the first try of the game But Lewis Dodd, St Helens hit the front, and it didn't take long, did it? There was a bit of indiscipline from the Broncos, first of all, with the penalty, markers not square, and then another penalty for interference at the play the ball. 6 again. It only took 1, and Bell puts Dodd over for the first try 5 minutes in.
It was beautiful support, wasn't it? Alex Walmsley showing a lovely soft pass there. Finds the ever-willing James Bell, who composes himself once he's broke the line and finds his scrum half. And you know what? I do put this down to Darrell Clark. His movement around the play the ball, there's lots of communication. I talked about the way that he had to perform as a Warrington player, almost setting that communication level at 11 out of 10, because people not always understanding what he wanted. Now, as he looks round as a Saints player, everybody's eyes are bright, everybody wants the ball, they're on the front foot and they're looking to get involved. And it was a beautiful kick, repeat possession, but more importantly, repeat defence for the London Broncos.
Interesting talking to the new Saints captain Johnny Lomax in the week, saying that one thing they've really worked on in the off-season is Mark Percival with the easy conversion from front of the post makes it 6-0 with their attack. Many people were criticising the way that Saints played with ball in hand last year, certainly not having the effect, that real cutting effect, but here, spot on.
Well, it's crucial, isn't it? When you break the line, you have a try-scoring opportunity, albeit from 50, 40 metres out, whatever it was on that occasion. You've got to convert those chances. If you convert the majority of them, you're in a pretty good spot as a rugby league team.
Ollie Leyland gets us underway again, and here comes Alex Walmsley.
Stern defence there from Rhys Kennedy, of course. Sean the door from Hull KR, so he has a point to prove. And speaking to Ryan Sheridan, the assistant coach at the Broncos, said he's a big player, big presence in the changing room, got good leadership skills, and they'll have to be on show, you feel, in 2024 for the Broncos.
There's Syrian again. Butler making the tackle with a bit of help from Anabai. And another penalty, not square at marker. We're going to see a lot of this, as we mentioned a few moments ago, Barry. They are going to clamp down on this. It will be a penalty. Have a look, just moving to the left there. Anabai and Butler, the guilty party, but that's 2 penalties for not being square.
And I've been at games, friendlies, where the crowd have got frustrated with the referee, blaming the referee. We'll see a couple of them that play the ball as well. And the onus is on the players. The onus is on the players to get the detail right, get set, get your markers in the right position at the right time. And if you do that, the referee will keep his whistle out of his mouth.
Saints at the moment, and it could be another try. Wellesby it is, goes for the line, and that was so very easy. London paying the price for indiscipline, and Saints scoring 2 tries in the first 8 minutes. Lewis Dodd with the first, and it just had to be Jack Wellesby with the second, and Saints already 10-0 to the good.
Love it, love it, love it, Stuart. Soft hands, short passes. Beautiful soft-handed pass there from James Bell. And of course, Jack Wellesby starts as one of the favourites for Man of Steel this year. And I think one of the buys that St Helens have made that nobody's really talked about is Matt Whitley. I think he did a tremendous job at Catalan Dragons. He's got him from the start this time. It's a lovely offload from him over on that left side. But you see from his squad number, he wears number 16. Big Curtis Sirenham was 16, so the depth that this St Helens side has got is the envy of the rest of the league, I'll tell you.
Don't forget, they've got Joe Batchelor out. They've also got Morgan Knowles out to come back into the side. You know, so...
Sione Matauti is on the bench. I have a feeling that Matauti will come on in the middle. He might play loose forward. He might push up into the front row. You know, it's all about versatility on the bench, and, you know, you can't look back too far ago. To carry a winger or a centre or an outside back on the bench was unheard of. It'd always be a pivot, it'd always be a 6, a 7 or a 9, but now you need those outside backs, because if you lose somebody on a HIA, The adjustments you've got to make in your back line is crippling.
10 yards in from touch, Mark Percival. It was a late call for their coach Paul Wellens as to whether it will be Mark Percival or Tommy Makinson with the goal-kicking duties. Percival got the job, he's wide there, but 10-0 up inside 10 minutes. Wellesby with the try, and it was very simple.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful hands. And we saw last night, you know, Peter Hiku, phenomenal player that he is, playing in the unfamiliar role of the fullback, given the goal-kicking duties. Hey, it is not easy. It is not easy. Percival misses, but he didn't miss as far as Peter Hiku did on one of those last night.
Walmsley again, good play from Walmsley and the offload, and Saints are playing what's been come the Saints way, hasn't it? Perhaps lacking, as we mentioned, in 2023, but
we're going to stay square, Sam.
It looks pretty good so far.
I like the way that Saints shape up. There's always as a support runner. Every time the ball is carried forward, there's somebody at the side and an option.
Here's Sirenin once more. Big player for Saints, and more important. Curtis Sirenin. Lomax looking for a way through. Butler involved again in the tackle. On the last, on halfway. London have only had the ball once so far in this game. We've played nearly 11 minutes, but a good take there from young Ollie Leyland. And a chance, just perhaps, for the Broncos to settle.
Well, they've been defending, or they've been under siege, haven't they? So to take a big deep breath, complete your set of 6, try and get the ball as far down the field as you can when it comes your time to kick, will be the priority for the Broncos.
On the left. Hold.
Sam Davis at dummy half.
Stand now. Hold.
Parata it was. They'll go the short side. There's the kick from Campagnolo. Straight to Jack Wellesby. Dangerous on the fly.
So many facets of his game, a top drawer, his positional sense. You know, you count how many times during the season he catches the ball on the full because he anticipates where it's going to go and closes off the field as well.
That was Blake getting involved in the action.
That's a good tackle.
Yeah, great tackle. Robbie Story making his debut. Robbie Story.
It's great work from the centre. Takes Percival off his feet.
5, sitting now, let's go.
Here's Sirenin again. Last one for Saints. 10-0 up.
Okay.
And there is Dodd. Good take. Of course, problems, we said, London with injuries without Bill Leyland, their young star hooker. I was really looking forward to seeing him in Super League. Of course, no Alex Walker or Josh Rourke, which is why third choice that Leyland's brother Ollie is having to play at full back. It's needs must at the moment for London.
It's such an important position in the modern game, full-back, in attack and defence. They are the player that runs the most amount of kilometres during a match, whether it's in attack and defence.
5, Curtis move. Stay square, boys. Hold.
Kennedy plays the ball. Kick downfield from Meadows. Good kick. 40-20. Just relieving the pressure.
Is it a 40-20?
It is a 40-20.
Yeah, good stuff.
It's a fantastic kick from young Jimmy Meadows.
Great work, isn't it?
Wow. I think Saints were slow to react, but for the moment he got the ball, Meadows knew exactly what he was going to do. And a first real opportunity now. Wellesby fuming.
Absolutely furious. And he's a live wire, James Meadows. I watched him play in a friendly against Oldham. He's a bit of the Jordan Rankin. He's a former Castleford and Hull FC player. Very similar style.
The real chance, the first chance for the Broncos on the Saints line. Davis it was who was brought down. They come to this left-hand side, and No way through for Maloney.
Wait, boys. Go.
Played the ball. McCartney.
Mark, gonna make it. Move now.
Butler once more on the charge. What a servant he's been, Rob Butler. The Londoner had a spell at Wakefield, but back where he feels he belongs.
It's a great kick, great kick. Made Jack Welsby have to work. Ultimately, he kicks it out. Repeat possession for the Broncos now. We'll get a look at their shape in attack and organisation of the halfbacks. But a lovely left-footed kick against the direction that everybody anticipated it was going to go.
Campagnolo,
Mark, time you 10 metres.
Italian international, played a lot in the New South Wales Cup and the Queensland Cup. But look at that so far, 81% possession for St Helens. But London beginning to get a foothold in this game. I'm really interested to see the partnership between Campagnolo and Meadows. But as we say that, there's the error.
Hold.
Oh, that's
Can't do
criminal.
that.
That's criminal, isn't it? Big Reece Kennedy.
It was.
Robbie Sam now.
Took the ball. He's a tall timber anyway.
Go.
I think he's hit around about the ball. Big Cernan dips the shoulder in and dislodges the ball.
2. Sam moves straight away. Hold.
10-0, 15 minutes gone. Tries from Lewis Dodd and Jack Welsby. A whole new era of Super League on Sky Sports. Every game live every weekend. All 6 games broadcast live on Sky Sports.
Hands away. Yeah, keep working, Reece. Just wait. Go. Play on.
Davis in there with the tackle. Comes back from Bell.
Is there a knock-on?
It's a knock-on.
Yeah.
Given us a knock-on by Bell.
Scram loose head London.
You could hear there the referee, James Vella. First knock-on from Bell, so an error apiece. 10-0 St Helens leading.
Scrum, boys. Okay.
St Helens return the favour, don't they? Give a fumble. I don't know whether it's an attempted offload. James Bell, who has that rubber ball style of play.
Righto.
But Jack Welsby,
all the way, mate. Shot clock off. Stay there, boys. All in.
he's the bloke that ended up with the ball.
Out. Play on.
Referee's spotted a knock-on somewhere.
Hold. Out now. Hold.
I was delighted to see Jack Welsby given a shot as captain with his national side. I think he's a terrific player. And I said he starts as one of the front runners for the Man of Steel. He's been close the last 2 years too.
Good tackle from Mark Percival. Nowhere to go there. The Broncos captain, Will Lovell. Here's Leyland.
Hold. Stay square.
Much better this so far from London, but they need to show some bite, some spark with ball in hand. Kennedy with the offload, bounces, eventually picked up by Campagnolo. Little chip over the top, another dangerous kick, and Welsby is going to be under pressure here. Does really well. How about that from Welsby and Blake? Great combination from the fullback and the debutant.
Beautiful footwork from Welsby. Lee Kershaw, who our viewers will remember from his days at Wakefield, he's now a London Broncos player, loses his footing, but it was beautiful sidestepping, his awareness of where Kershaw is, and then the confidence to feed that ball back inside. Lovely stuff.
But again, the influence there of Campagnolo. Steering in once more. Good tackle from Anabai.
No balance and control.
Well, I think he may well have lost the ball there.
Fixed hand over, boys. No balance and control.
So
it's an incorrect play, the ball.
So
now,
again,
this is one of the new rules. Explain.
Players have to get up, they have to regain their balance. Sirinen is always falling forward, so first thing is get your foot on the ball, but you have to have balance. You have to be stood up to play, or in the action of standing up. And I'm telling you, fans and viewers will get frustrated, but players will get better at that skill. And I think for the betterment of the game, tidying up the ruck area and the play of the ball will help.
Here is Butler. Interesting that all the Super League clubs have been visited by the top referees, the full-time referee during the off-season, to explain all these rule changes. They've all had an opportunity to be shown how it should work, to ask questions, and that was just under the new rules, an incorrect play the ball. And as I say, London just getting a bit more interested in this game as Kennedy looks for a way through.
Set square marker, boys. Don't push it. 5.
Meadows.
Curtis, Johnny.
Like the look of Jimmy Meadows.
Busy, he's busy. He's not a kicking option because he's playing the ball now.
Well, the ball comes out. Is that a knock-on against Saints, or is that a knock-on against London?
Boys, we said London.
Well, anybody that's not watched Hakeem Maloudi, he is a live wire. Anything can happen around him. He dummies to pass, tries to find an offload, and then does it come off Johnny Lomax? For London to do anything in this game, for me, they have to have the fair share of possession. So they can't give it away, they can't give penalties away, they can't make mistakes with ball in hand, but they've got to try something, they've got to throw something at the defence of St Helens, and if they do it under fatigue, they've got a better chance. So keeping hold of the ball, that will give them an advantage.
Hit the line.
This is much better, isn't it? Can they find a way through? Davis at dummy half. It was Story with the original run.
Darryl, hands away.
Kennedy getting involved again. 6'6", wasn't needed by Hull KR anymore, with a point to prove back in the Super League with the Broncos. Davis, and they go to the right-hand side. They're looking to open up Saints on that right-hand side. Kershaw with the ball now. Prolific try scorer. Now the offload. Here is Leyland. 2 tackles left in the set here for London. Leyland brought down 5 yards away from the line. Meadows again. The ball goes to ground. It's picked up by Hurrell. No advantage.
Talked about risk, talked about throwing something at the St Helens defenders. I don't feel this is it. Kennedy a couple of times has thrown a loose offload, hoping to catch one of his teammates. I don't know whether hit the deck, play the ball, speed it up around that play the ball might have been the better option.
Improved. Keep it there, all right? Okay, let's go, boys. We'll keep it in.
Well, there was nowhere for Campagnolo to go there, was there?
Stay in, boys. Out.
It's past the midway point of the first half. The Super League live on Sky Sports, and Helens leading by 10 points to 0. They scored after 5 minutes through Lewis Dodd. They scored after 8 minutes through Jack Wellesby. But London deserves all the credit, because at that stage it looked like Saints could run away with it, but they dug in.
Yeah, they've tightened up that defence, haven't they? And I guess for the players who haven't played at this level, there's 11 players who are what you'd class as system trained, come through the club. You know, they're playing at this level and this intensity for the first time, some of them for the first time in a long time. So getting up to speed, understanding what it takes to survive first and foremost is a very harsh lesson.
Well, the 6 again was because they're not square at marker. That needs some explanation. If it's inside the 40, it's a penalty. If it's outside the 40, it's a set restart. And that's why Saints have got another 6. That's one of the new rules. Saints looking dangerous again.
Gorgeous ball.
Alex Walmsley, what a night for the big man. His 50th try for St Helens, and Walmsley strolling through the defence, and Saints get their 3rd try. Big smiles from the big man with a big try in his career.
And the first person he turns round to thank is Darryl Clark. Picks up, fast ruck, and a beautiful, you can see here, he's engaged 3 defenders, drawn the final one in, and put Alex Walmsley through a beautiful hole. Full credit to the big man. It's not a natural instinct for a 6'7", I'm going to guess it his weight, 112, 115 kgs. It's not a natural instinct for him to support the ball But guess what? When you support the ball, good things are going to happen. And Paul Wellens will be delighted with the way that, first of all, they started the game. Then when London tried to impose themselves in the game, they handled that, forced some mistakes, and then first chance they've got over that end of the field to our right as we're watching, they've come away with points.
Still getting a bit of getting used to not seeing Darrell Clarke in the primrose and blue, the Warrington colours. He was there for 9 years. This is his 300th Super League game, by the way, Darrell Clarke, on his St Helens debut.
I bet he hasn't been as nervous for a game, because don't forget, before James Roby, a small matter of Kieran Cunningham was wearing the number 9 shirt. So
no pressure then.
Big shoes to fill, those big numbers, the 1, 6, 7, 9, the 13. You know, they carry a lot of expectation with them, don't they?
Percival 1 for 2 so far. Opening Friday night of Super League. And Mark Percival extends St Helens' lead to 16 points to 0. But Barry McDermott is liking the look of Darrell Clarke in the red V.
I'm loving the, I suppose, athleticism that the St Helens players are showing. There's some craft and some guile from Darrell Clarke. He recognises a fractured, broken line, and I'm loving the determination of the big man. He doesn't know he's going to get a pass. He anticipates he might get something, or at the very least take some flies off, some defenders off Darrell Clarke, so he can break tackles and perhaps score the try himself. But a meat pie for the big fella on week 1.
George Delaney on the field as a replacement for Matty Lees. He only knows one way forward. Jake Wingfield on as well. Saint to see Wingfield and Delaney very much in the James Graham mould, don't we?
Well, 2 good front rows, and you have to have agility and speed as well as courage and bravery. And they've both got skill too. The production line at St Helens, teams like Wigan, Leeds Rhinos, you know, they provide that bedrock and that foundation for all those successful periods.
Wait, Emmanuel. Go. Tackle low. Outside. Give 10, James, you're off.
Ball goes back to Dodd. It's a high one. It's a tough one to take, and it was well watched and well taken by Ollie Leyland. One of 12 players in this London squad. As they get a penalty, interference at the play the ball. So
get straight up.
Because it's inside the 40, it means that it's a penalty. If it was outside, it would be 6 again, and it was Delaney, the man who was penalised. But yeah, 12 out of their 18-man squad are from the south or from London, products of the London Academy.
Here we are, boys. Curtis.
I suppose when we're searching for things to celebrate about this London side in particular, I cast my mind back to when London sides 10, 20 years ago, it was littered with South Africans, Australians, New Zealanders, where you've got a big batch of London system-trained players that have pride in that shirt.
Well, there's Anabai, loves it at the London Broncos. Affectionately known as Sid, isn't he?
Yeah.
Sadiq Anabai.
He's done okay, Leyland. He's done okay. He's been safe under the high ball, and he's difficult to handle when he's carrying.
That's good. That's the man that you said that we should be looking out for, Emmanuel Wayne, the Papua New Guinea international, already making an impression. Here is Kennedy. This time the offload is good, but the ball may well have been knocked on there by Maludi, and it's frustrating this for the Broncos and their coach Mike Eccles, because they're getting themselves into good positions, Barry, and then unable.
It looks a little bit
that killer instinct.
It looks a little bit rushed, doesn't it? We see every time he carries the ball, Reece Kennedy. You mentioned his height, so he's getting over the top, offloading over the top to his teammates, and then there's a quick pass. I don't know whether sometimes the offload is the reward, and those players, I'm sure Mike Eccles, when he gets his players in at half-time, will have some tweaks and adjustments, because they are playing a lot of them at this pace. and at this level in intensity for the first time.
Always going to be tough for London in Super League, but they'll give it a go for sure.
2, move now, lock in. Go. Well done, Sam.
Darryl Clark again at dummy half.
3, clean now, back it up. Go.
Blake brought down, wanted a penalty. Lomax inside for Delaney. Latest scores, Huddersfield 6 to the good away at the Lee Leopards. And how about that at Headingley? Leeds, who have invested hugely in the off-season, trailing Salford, who've lost so many players, by 8 points to 6. And there's a mistake from St Helens now, all getting a little bit sloppy. Lomax with the apology.
He thought he saw something on the short side, trying to find Conrad Hurrell, catching it and passing it. I think Carney just does enough in the face of Conrad Hurrell, prevents him from committing to that pass, but Lomax floats it into the path of the big man, but there's a mistake made.
Wait for that go call, boys. Move.
Marcus Stock on the field.
Hold. Go. James got
For the Broncos. Another one brought up in the south from Milton Keynes. Saints are given offside. Penalty against Mark Percival. Another opportunity. Then you get the feeling now at 16 points to 0 down. We're already at the stage of the game with 10 minutes or so to go to half-time that London have to score next. They've threatened, and they've threatened, but they've come up short. They've never really looked like breaking that St Helens defensive line. Can they hit?
I like watching Emmanuel Wayne. I do. I think he's going to be a star. We're going to enjoy watching him go about his work. But you're right. They are needing to post points. But for me, just spending time down here will give them some confidence. There's that carry. He only knows one way to run, that fella.
Hit the line.
Meadows involved again. Little inside pass, but nowhere for Pirana to go. Here is Meadows. Chance maybe for Maloney. Offload. Here's Campagnolo. Once more. And Meadows.
Look at that defence from St Helens. They're getting nothing.
On the line. Go.
Still 2 tackles left in the set. Still a chance to threaten the Saints line. Adabai, nowhere to go. Bell in there, and Siren in there, and Lomax in there, but Adabai refuses to go down. Last one then, Davis. Right-hand side it is. Ball goes
Charge
left.
down.
And was that a knock-on?
It's a charge down.
We're pulling back, Lewis.
Was a penalty against Saints for pulling back the London player.
Yeah, I think it was play on.
Clearly from the referee.
It's play on at the point of the charge down, and when both players are trying to get to that ball, there's the charge down from Dodd. You can see there's a collision, and somebody's held back in back play. I'm not too sure. Maybe a little bit.
50-50 call goes the way of the London Broncos.
Stuart, I don't think they're going to break the line. I don't think they come up with a fancy play to outfox this defensive Saints. A short kick behind the defensive line. There you go. They're trying as hard as they can to find the outside edge or some confusion in the defence at Saints. A simple dab behind the defensive line. When I say dab, I mean a soft kick. That's a miracle catch and pass.
Yeah.
And he's doing it blind without vision of the player outside him. Every time they've been down this end, they're trying to come up with something outrageous and magic. And for me, Saints defensively are just too good.
Jack, Marcus, push
Saints
up.
with a change, Batautia on for Bell. Akeem Maloney and Ilyas Bakari on the wing. Not quite worked it out yet, have they, for the London Broncos.
Hold the 10.
16-0, Saints with 3 tries. 7 minutes to go to half-time. But yeah, you're right. They've come back into it, haven't they, London? They've had a bit of possession, they've had a bit of ball, but they've just not looked likely, have they?
The Saints are too good. They're too good at defending whilst under fatigue, whilst under pressure. So you have to throw something different at them. And it's not an outrageous offload, because you know, the chances of that coming off are few and far between.
Matauta already making a nuisance of himself for Saints, and here is Sirenin once more. Gets over halfway. The referee's saying he'd already called held.
Well, I don't know how, because they've not managed to stop Sirenin all night, have they?
Absolutely. Dodd with the kick once more, and watched ever so carefully by young Ollie Leyland.
He's done it again. He's caught everything that they've put up. He hasn't been under an awful lot of pressure. I'd like to see him with some defenders around him, but so far he's done pretty well. The third choice fullback.
McCartney trying to make waves for the London Broncos. Here's Maloney again. They have got strike in the backs, but they just haven't been able to produce something anywhere near like an X factor, which is going to threaten the Saints' defence. Maloney plays the ball, picked up by Story. We've hardly seen Lee Kershaw with ball in hand, and we know how quick the winger is. And here's your man, Emmanuel Wade, charging forward again. Impact player, and he's made an impact for sure. Ball goes back to Campagnolo. Straight at Wellesby, and this will be a penalty again.
You don't need to go in.
And this time for not letting go of Jack Wellesby. Penalty against Anabayi. Can't afford to give away the penalties. And this is just one of the instances. There we go. All he had to do was put his hand on his back. That is now a penalty. Because the man was down, that is rated as a flop.
He just stays in too long. You know why he's doing it. He wants a bit of time for his defenders to get set. Saints want to play the game at a different type of tempo and pace.
One. Move together. Square. Hold.
Lee on the board. Huddersfield still leading, and Leeds have levelled it at Headingley against Salford. And here is Jake Wingfield. Saints looking to strike again just before half-time. Good tackle. It was Wayne with the tackle.
Back to the mark. Back to the mark.
Whitley been told to go back.
Thank you.
Wellesby was asking for a penalty. Yeah, I'm with you. I like the look of this Emmanuel Wayne.
4. Move.
Made his debut.
Hold.
He's a big player for London in their promotion push in the Championship, and thoroughly enjoying himself here, and the Saints are enjoying themselves as well. And this will be another try. It's another try for Tommy Makinson. It was a throw-in at the corner. His 14th season at St Helens. He's approaching 200 tries for the club. That try, 194. It's Saints' 4th of the night. And again, the penalty, the indiscipline, and the result is a St Helens try.
You just contrast the composure that St Helens have got when they're looking at London's line. Flip that over when London are down the other end of the field. They are throwing miracle passes, blind, without knowing and never seeing where the person that they're passing is. And that's just wonderful anticipation from Johnny Lomax, passing it into the path of a player who instinctively knows he's going to be there. It's a wonderful floating pass. But for me, there is no risk in that pass. When Hakim Maloney, a couple of moments ago, catches and passes it at the same time, he's just hoping against hope that the player is in the right position.
It's a minute mark.
Well, certainly 10 out of 10 for effort as far as London are concerned, but they are, as many people suspected, let's be honest, just lacking in a bit of class.
I don't want to use the word outclass, but you can see, can't you, that St Helens are very accomplished at this level. Whenever they get a chance and an opportunity, they're using it. They're making sure they're coming out on the right side of it.
Yeah, agreed.
And those key players, the 1, 6, 7 and 9, Wellesby, Lomax, Dodd, and of course Darryl Clark are all on the same page.
off the touchline, Mark Percival. That looks, well, it just faded to the right of the post. It looked good, I think, when the ball left the boot. But St Helens, as we close in on the half-time hooter, looking comfortable at 20 points to nil.
I just love the movement of this, and you know that Tommy Makinson knows he's just got to stand outside his last defender, Ilias Mikani. He's looking at the ball, he's got eyes for the ball, and the beautiful weighted pass into the path of Tommy Makinson. He's just got to be patient. He gets his just rewards. 28 points to zip. Almost 38 minutes on the clock.
Tackle low. Okay. One. Move.
It's great to see those young front rows out together, isn't it?
Yep,
the future's really bright. Wingfield, as you say, only knows one way to run. George Delaney. And they're going to have to learn some harsh lessons as front rowers. They'll damage that body that they've been gifted and they've worked on so hard in pre-season.
Play on.
But they're smart operators, they're willing workers, and it's great to see them.
Good yardage again from Darrell Clark. Here is Hurrell. Always difficult to stop. Always difficult to stop. Always difficult to stop, Conrad Hurrell.
Okay,
Box office when he gets going. Last one as Lomax chips the ball up. It's a teasing kick, but again well taken, this time by the winger Makani, but London pushed back in the closing stages of this half. Less than a minute to go, and Saints leading by 20 points to nil.
Jack Wellsby screaming for the ball on the left-hand side of Johnny Lomax. If that kick would have gone to the left, not the right, and the bounce was kind, it could have gone in with another try under the belt, St Helens.
Big hit on Wayne from Matautia. That'll be an interesting battle as this game goes on. Last tackle, and they're just outside their own 20, London. Campagnolo with the kick downfield. Easy take it will be for Tommy Makinson. Closing seconds of the half. Here is Blake. He can go. We'll see Blake, I'm sure, with an opportunity to go. There goes the hooter. That may well have been a high shot of Jack Wellsby, and we're going to have a penalty right on the stroke of half-time.
We don't need you here. Let's go back.
Well, he's picked up and forcefully thrown to the ground. I'd like to have another look before I commit whether his hips were over his head. Yeah, I think probably a penalty is sufficient as we watch it.
Yeah, it was your mate Emmanuel Wayne, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's all or nothing with him, isn't it?
Just a penalty.
Yeah, just a penalty. Right decision, it was just a penalty. The Saints are going to get one more shot at this London line. The hooter has gone for half-time.
Emmanuel's back here.
What can they do? 4 tries already. Dodd, Wellsby, Walmsley and Tommy Makinson. But Clark puts the ball down. It was played at, says the referee, and Blake with the offload. Saints will still give it a go. They'll look for something. Matautia involved. And eventually the ball goes to ground. And Lomax goes to ground. And there is the half-time hooter. Thoroughly entertaining half. Lomax and Saints have dominated, as you would expect. London back in Super League for the first time in 5 years. But Darrell Clark, very, very influential, along with Makinson and Wellsby. Both have scored tries. Saints in control at half-time. They lead by 20 points to nil. They are thoroughly dominant in this game. 4 tries, Dodd, Wellsby, Walmsley, Makinson, and it all adds up to a scoreline of 20 points to nil. Welcome back to the opening Friday night of Super League 2024. Every game live on Sky Sports throughout the season. 2 huge matches on Saturday in the Betfred Super League. Castleford taking on the champions Wigan, who start their defence at the Jungle. 5:25 Sky Sports action for that. And then live from Perpignan, Catalan Dragons. Many new faces, ditto the Warrington Wolves. What a big day it's going to be for Warrington's new coach, Sam Burgess. 5:25 also, and it's Sky Sports Arena for Catalan against Warrington. But here's St Helens dominant, as you would expect, in the first half. A lot of effort from the London Broncos, but really Saints taking control early on, didn't they, with those tries from Lewis Dodd and then Jack Wellsby. Alex Walmsley with his 50th try for the club, and Tommy Makinson, the try-scoring machine, with yet another just before the half-time hooter. Elsewhere, it's close. Huddersfield 6-4 up at half-time against Lee, and that would be an almighty shock, wouldn't it? Leeds have recruited and spent heavily. And of course, they've got the former Salford players, Brodie Croft and Andy Ackers, making their debuts. But it's Salford who lead 14-8 at half-time at Headingley. But here's St Helens taking control with 4 tries in that first half.
Well, for me, Stuart, control is the word of the day. Whenever they've had an opportunity to either make a break or convert that break into points, they've done so. 5 minutes on the clock. Beautiful hands from Alex Walmsley, who's been very impressive in the opening half. Feeds James Bell, who then feeds Dodd, who strolls in. I love the composure here on James Bell. Floats it into the path of his halfback. You'll hear us talk about floating passes, the weight of passes, the accuracy of passes, and you're seeing it all over the board, all over those first 40 minutes from St Helens. Beautiful pass from 9. 7 with an early pass and an early ball to James Bell. Matt Will, it does a wonderful job to evade, ride a tackle and offload to Jack Wellsby. 8 minutes on the clock, 10-0 at that point. And there was a resurgence from London Broncos, but they just didn't have enough in the opposing half to get any points on the board. Darryl Clark jumping out, as he has done all his career. But Alex Walmsley, look at the determination on his face. A beautiful angle to see the front rower work extra hard to get onto that pass, and he's delighted when he goes over. And this is just a joy to watch. Makinson goes in to make the scoreline 20 points. But look at the precision, look at the weight and accuracy of that pass. Wonderful stuff from Saints, and they go into the change rooms. Paul Wellens will be delighted with the way that they've attacked and defended in those opening 40 minutes. Great stuff from Saints.
And I know you've been particularly impressed with, we've hardly seen Wonga Blake with the ball, but 2 of Saints debutants, and Matt Whitley and especially Darryl Clark wearing the red V for the first time on his 300th Super League appearance, and he's made a decent fist of it in replacing those big boots of James Roby.
You need a dynamic 9, whether it's somebody that comes off the bench or somebody that starts the game. You need some questions around that play of the ball. Now we've tightened it up. Now we're getting the markers under control. I think Darryl Clark is going to have a field day with Saints.
So Saints in control at half-time. Darryl Clark very much evident in Saints' resurgent first 40 minutes. 4 tries and a 20 points lead.
Already. The fly is the giant, the champion, turn on the siren. Roars, the realest, adrenaline, I know you feel it. How much do you want it, so come and get it. Everybody know we here when that rhythm hit them. The race is on, shoes lace, game faces on. It's going down, we came around.
It's the one trophy that Penrith haven't got in their cabinet.
Two rugby league worlds collide live on Sky Sports, the World Club Challenge. 24th of February, Sunday week, Wigan against the Penrith Panthers, 7:30 on Sky Sports main event and Sky Sports Action. It's a sellout. It will be an absolute cracker. Here at the TW Stadium, 15,000 for the opening night. Terrific attendance, Saints leading by 20 points to nil with 4 tries, and London just need a bit more of a cutting edge, don't they, in the second half. They huffed and they puffed, but that's about it.
Stuart, I think for me, they've got to spend some time in possession down the right end of the field. Too many times, while they had ball in hand, they took a risk, offloaded the ball, particularly the hard-working front row Reece Kennedy, but they didn't get anything from it. Often it resulted in a mistake, and then when it comes time to defend, the fatigue in the legs and in the minds has meant mistakes were made and they were opened up in simple fashion. So I'm sure that the coaching staff, Mike Eccles, Ryan Sheridan, are getting round the players, telling them to stick together. Whatever the scoreboard says, we don't panic, we don't worry, we just try and fix up those things that are letting us down, particularly with the ball.
I think it's no secret that they will have the lowest spend on the salary cap in Super League. As it stands with the IMG ratings, they're not going to be in Super League next year, but they want to earn the right to play in Super League and hope that things change during the year to give them at least an opportunity, at least a level playing field to have a go to try and play their way into Super League next year, to make sure they don't finish bottom.
You're right.
Give it a go in London.
You're right. And the politics of sports mean that the players aren't concerned or won't concern themselves with IMG ratings that are all about fandom and engagement. They've got to control what they can do on the field, and the coaching staff and the players are unified in that approach. We represent ourselves with pride. I think that's big Alex Walmsley. It looks like he's warming up. Maybe a knock or a bump for him early on in the season, but just getting back to the London Broncos, it's for the administrative staff at the Broncos, it's for David Hughes to put those cases forward, and all the Broncos players can do is keep performing, make sure they pick up results when they need to. And look at that, James Roby sat on the sideline with a headset on. It's great to see him still involved, and of course we bumped into the great character Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook, who served both teams, the London Broncos, or I think for a period they were the London Harlequins while LMS was down south, and the St Helens side. So yeah, St Helens do retain those key characters and keep them around the place. There he is.
He could
James
still
Roby.
play, couldn't he?
It's whether he wants to play.
No, I don't think he does, but I'll tell you what, if there was an emergency, he'd put his hand up.
Well, I know from the back end of my career, when you're getting up out of the chair or getting out of bed and you're making noises every time you move, it's time to pack in, isn't it?
All right, let's just finish off the London question. Before we get into the second half, the team's coming out now. It's an age-old question. It's been asked many, many times. Is it vital for our sport to have a successful London team?
Yes, it is. But London have to be successful, not just on the field. They have to put roots down somewhere. How many times have they been at the Stoop? They've been at Brentford. They've been all over. So put roots down. Get the local community behind you. And it's not a 12 months thing. It's a 12 years exercise. So this club is on a journey, not necessarily all these players or this team, but this club is on a journey. To answer the question, yes, we need a strong London side in there.
Yeah, but for me, they have to be given the opportunity, and that means the opportunity in Super League. And we will see if things change during the year to give London a chance of staying in the big league in 2025. But for now, it's the big kick-off weekend of 2024. Saints leading by 20 points to nil. Live at the TW Stadium.
Hold!
A reminder that all 6 games every weekend live on Sky Sports. I'll see if London can show something, a bit of cutting edge. And here is Leyland with a chance to break. Good offload, but runs straight into Delaney and to Matautia.
That's a better offload. Offload in a good position to a player expecting it. And even though there's a bit of ball movement and my man Emmanuel Wayne ends up with it in possession, I'm not sure how many metres they're making forward and how much stress they're putting on the defensive line of St Helens.
There is Parata on halfway. Davis at dummy half, looking to try and make some ground, but Matautia and Sirinen again with the strong tackle. Ball back with Stock, up goes the kick. Well, they're all between them, all leaving it to bounce, and fortune there favouring Saints. Unlike Wellesby to leave one.
Yeah, you just hope that those players haven't gone in at half-time and relaxed. St Helens looked ruthless in the first 40 minutes.
Clear the rock! Square. Hold! Play on! Yep. Held! Release! Hold! Go forward.
Wingfield, Clark again at dummy half. On the last, Saints inside the London half. I think the ball has come out there. Percival looking for a way through.
St Helens taking it to the line, trying to get right into the teeth of the London defence. It's that pass there from Whitley. Timing just not quite right. How exciting it's going to be. Matt Whitley over on that side with Mark Percival.
And here is Lee Kershaw. Not seen too much of him with the ball. He was on trial, wasn't he? Or was training with the Leeds Rhinos, and then a trial pre-season, and impressed, scoring 3 tries in pre-season games, and has made the move to London for this season only.
I think he's an underestimated player, I really do. Works hard coming off his own line and can score a try, that's for sure. He's got good pace and good strength close to the line. He hasn't seen too much of it during the first 40 minutes at St Helens.
That's Parata again.
Play on. You're off, Emmanuel.
Here is Meadows. Leyland with a little kick through, and then the kick on, and maybe an opportunity here for the London Broncos, and it's going to be a try for their captain. Well, it's going to go to the video referee. Robbie Story thinks he scored, and we're going to have the first call of the night. Try on the field. Has Robbie Story scored on debut for the Broncos?
So it's tackle forward. We've got an on-field decision of try. First of all, we need to check onside, offside. So we're going to pause it on the foot to see who's onside from the kick. So Kershaw and the player inside him are onside. However, we've got to keep an eye on Manu, who's in the middle. So we'll keep going forward here, keep going forward here, keep going forward. There is no Saints player in a position to receive the ball, and now we have a second kick. So on the second kick, we need to check that that is in the field of play at the point in which Kershaw gets his foot on the ball. So does the ball ever hit the line? That is the question we're asking. No, it doesn't. So we can keep going. We'll go back to the wide to see everybody being onside. So everybody to the left is onside at that kick. So we can keep going here. So he now needs to gain possession. So he's gained possession. We're now into grounding. So he's in the field of play, in the field of play. Ball is in possession. Thank you. I have a decision.
So here comes the decision. And it looks like a debut try for Robbie Story, but what about the football work from Lee Kershaw? He was saying that he's not been involved in the game with ball in hand. It doesn't have to be ball in hand. The London Broncos back in Super League. are on the board. The try for Robbie Storey on his debut, but Lee Kershaw, wow, what a play!
Remarkable try, remarkable, never giving up. The winger, Lee Kershaw, I thought for all money, either his foot was on the line or the ball had bounced outside the line. But they never gave up on that chase. I mentioned, didn't I, a kick behind the line. I'm certain that that's the only way that the Broncos are going to get an opportunity to score.
Campagnolo off the touchline. Just the start they wanted. Horribly wrong off the boot of Jack Campagnolo. But the Broncos are on the board. They had to try something different. They did try something different, and they came up with 4 points.
I'm not too sure whether this is a set player or he just has a look, Ollie Leyland, dabs it behind the line. The commitment of the winger Lee Kershaw, and as you say, Robbie Storey judges the bouncing ball perfectly. What a start to the second half by the Broncos. Now, what will that do to their confidence?
To see the Saints fullback Jack Wellsby slipping in the background as he turned to try and chase the kick through from Kershaw.
I tell you what, Stu, as I was watching the replay, I said no 3 times and had to change my mind, because when you watched it, it was yes all the way through.
Zero.
Well, that's a knock on, and if you score a try, you cannot then afford to cough up possession to the opposition, and that's exactly what London have done. Pounced on by Delaney for Saints. And here is Matautia, 20 points to 4.
Well done, mate.
I think it was Emmanuel Wayne, wasn't it, trying to the offload. There may well have been a hand in there. McCartney it was, but Saints now coming again. Percival with the offload. Here is Whitley. Kind of a story, you know. As a kid, Matt Whitley wasn't deemed good enough for Saints.
And he's from this area as well.
From Billings.
Began his career at Widnes.
He did.
Smashing fella, Matt Whitley, deserves everything he gets. Worked incredibly hard and made that name for himself in Catalan.
Let go as a teenager by Saints, but Saints are not letting go here. That may well have been a hand in there from McCartney. It was. But he may well have saved a certain try, because Makinson was eyeing up the corner.
He had to do something. He had to come in and shut that play, didn't he? I must say, we've got some lovely dreadlocks on show this evening, haven't we? Conrad Hurrell and Elias McCartney. A lot of care and attention gone into those hairdos.
10 seconds. Start the
Longer than it took you to do yours. What is it, Pikey? Number 1 all over.
Stay in here, boys. Ollie, bind properly.
Buzzcut.
Stay there, boys.
I'm just glad to have hair at my age, like you, old son. The Saints now looking to strike with Percival. There's the offload. Clark involved, but it was a penalty, I think. There was a high tackle. Yeah.
And it's a high tackle on Percival somewhere. As he goes to the line, there it is. Storey tries to grab man and ball.
Stay on the line here.
They've got to defend this, haven't they? They've got to defend this surge from St Helens to keep that confidence. You can't just score a try and then let 3 in.
Wingfield. St Helens will be delighted to have him back on the pitch. He will have so many injuries, so many bad injuries, and here is Hurrell. Hurrell going for the corner, stopped with Shaw, taking 3 defenders to bring him down. Maludin. McCartney eventually managed to do just that. London quick up in the line. Ball goes back for Sione Matautia. Interference at the play of the ball. It's a set restart, and on we go. And London putting themselves under pressure there as Sione is caught. Shaw close to the line, and that's how close Saints are. A yard or 2 away. Darrell Clark. Dodd trying to wriggle his way through. Well, is that a try? Is that a try on debut for Darrell Clark. Did he wriggle his way over the line? Saints think they scored, and we know how dangerous he can be. The video ref will decide. The Saints.
So it's
got try number 5.
Tackle free. We've got an on-field decision of a try. We're just checking grounding, so he needs to maintain possession of the ball here. So he's in possession at this point. The ball carrying arm remains up. Do we see the ball on the line? The ball is still in the hand, still in the hand, still in the hand, and appears to be on the line. We will just check that if there's any other angles available. And this will be the best angle. So the ball's in possession, always on the hand, and the ball is down there. Thank you, I have a decision.
Marcus Griffiths, the video referee. And the crowd are about to get the verdict. Darrell Clark on his St Helens debut. And what a moment for him. Number 9, following in the footsteps of Kieran Cunningham and James Roby. Enormous pressure on his shoulders, but at the moment he's putting in a stellar performance on his debut.
Obviously, we put that down to the run and the commitment in the run from George Delaney, but at the beginning of the game, or actually before the game, when the teams were announced one by one, Alex Walmsley was announced, and when it got to Darrell Clark, I feel it was the biggest cheer of the night, because everybody in the stadium knows just how important it is for him to have a good game and a good start to his career, but how important it is for St Helens as a side to have a number 9 with quality, threat and an instinct to score try. You can see that the run attracts defenders, but that's not the story. The story is the commitment, the guile, the way he is never going to be stopped. And Paul Wellens of the coaching staff, well, they'll be as pleased for him as he will be in himself.
Laurent Fresineau and Matty Smith alongside him. 26 points to 4, 10 minutes gone in the second half, and worth mentioning that Barry McDermott will be choosing the player of the match. We'll have a few candidates and we'll let you know who he chooses in the last 5 minutes or so, but St Helens dominant in this game. Just having a look back, you know, Saints have won their last 10 first-round games in Super League. And if you remember the last time they were beaten, way back in 2013 when they were walloped here by Huddersfield Giants.
Yeah.
It was 42-4, wasn't it? Something like that.
Yeah. Well, there are many things that carry through the generations of St Helens, but that willingness to compete and that edge that they've got, that this ground, whether it's Knowsley Road or this ground, the Totally Wicked Stadium, is a fortress. And if anybody comes here and wants to get something, they've got to work incredibly hard.
Dodd with the kick downfield. Well taken again by Ollie Leyland.
He's done well. He's been one of the best, Ollie Leyland.
Mike Eccles, the coach, wasn't too sure how long he'd be without Alex Walker and Josh Rourke, who they signed from Whitehaven. They had high hopes for him. He was really unlucky. He broke his leg, didn't he, in Oldham in the final pre-season game. That's a bad luck, losing Bill Leyland, star hooker. Many think destined for big things, Bill Leyland, but he won't play this year. ACL injury, out for the year. Penalty against St Helens, not standing square.
And that is, unfortunately for the Broncos, and a couple in and around the leagues, if you've got a small squad, a couple of injuries and that's it, you're really into the depths of that squad that you've got. And if those players coming in aren't ready, aren't used to it, aren't up to it, you know, your team could suffer.
Get rid of it. Thanks, mate. Well done.
Yeah, Delaney was a touch high there, but got to say, so far, 51 minutes in, praise for the referee, James Vella. He handled this really well. Of course, a stack of new rules for us all to get to grips with, and this may well be an incorrect play the ball. Another one. We saw one from Curtis Sirinen. And again, not in control, not standing straight, diving forward. That is now a penalty.
In his rush to play the ball, he's stumbling forward, but the fact that Curtis Sirinen is there contributes to him being off balance. But you've just got to get it right. Fundamentals of the game. When we grow up and when we start playing this ball, we spend hours on muddy fields practicing to play the ball. Well, you know, Super League players, high-end elite athletes are going to have to go back to basics and practice to play the ball. As bizarre as that sounds.
Whitley does well. Here is Wellsby now, looking to try and get around Campagnolo, but Saints in control. 12 minutes gone in the second half, and you know, talking about the new rules, it's going to take everybody, the players and the fans and us broadcasters as well, a little bit of time to get used to it, because there are so many. It's mainly about cleaning up the ruck and foul play and playing the ball correctly.
That's the benefit of it, Stuart. Exactly. Players like Darryl Clark will have the opportunity to get out and show their skill.
Well, on the last, Lomax not able to get the kick away. Well taken again by Ollie Leyland. He's been good.
Move. Lock in.
But there is a difference in class, isn't there? We knew it before the kickoff, and so it's been proved. But as far as guts and determination are concerned, you cannot fault the Broncos.
If the Broncos lose this game because of, you know, maybe a gap in ability or skill, I think the coach will be able to handle that. Mike Eccles will say, as long as we don't get beat on effort and commitment, I'll stick with you, boys.
Williams plays the ball on the last. Ball goes back to Campagnolo.
Another bouncing ball.
Yep, taken by Makinson.
And that's the danger sometimes when the scoreboard is lopsided. Those small things aren't as important as they would be if it was a bit closer. So you look at St Helens, they'll have gone in at half-time, 20 points to the good, and the big talk will have been, don't drop your standards. Let's not let an easy try in. Well, you can make your judgment on whether that was an easy try, a lucky try, a fortuitous try. But London are on the scoreboard.
Yeah, deservedly so. Bell back on the field. Matautia has gone off for St Helens. Here's Clark again. I wonder if Darryl Clark, you know, is going to play the full 80. Dodd with a little chip up towards the corner, the ball bouncing around and eventually pounced on by the standoff Jack Campagnolo.
I'm just going to talk from the St Helens perspective here. If he does manage to get 80 minutes under his belt, Darryl Clark, that'll be great for him, but it will also mean that the talk in the time was Jake Wingfield was going to step in at 9, which I think detracts from his game. You can see how much force and how much impact he has when he carries. And just a bit of a shout out for Jake Burns, just on the edges of the squad. He'll get his game soon. And number 9 coming through the ranks at St Helens. But speaking to Mike Rush at half-time, there are 8 players just under the age of 20 waiting in the wings to get their chance on opportunity. Don't they do it well, Pikey?
Come on, boys, back.
Well, St Helens do promote a lot from within, don't they?
Okay, the hell's he?
Leyland again, kick downfield. Easy for Wellsby.
Credit where it's due. There's an intact line. They've completed a set. They've kicked long. And look at the defenders in those black shirts now.
Move now, leave the ball.
Eventually brought down by Matt Davis, young man on the field, and here is Hurrell.
2, 3. Straight out. Let him play the ball.
So powerful, isn't he? Darryl Clark is certainly controlling things around that ruck, isn't he?
3, 4. Move.
56 minutes on the clock, St Helens leading.
5. No. Come on. Hold.
They're just starting to poke the noses through St Helens now
Make sure you
get to the end of this kick, defend, and then the next time they have the ball, the way that they bend the line might end up in some line breaks, try scoring opportunities and points on the board for them. It's that game of patience.
Yeah,
they're so patient,
absolutely.
St Helens. They don't mind the fact that they don't break the line. They'll bend that line, the fatigued defenders, and just play the long game.
3. Move. Daryl, Matty, hold, go.
Just having a look back, that 2019 season, they actually won 10 games and were relegated. I mean, that's unheard of. Never happened before.
No.
Probably won't ever happen again. But
Danny Ward's
Ward's
team,
team,
the coach
yeah.
at the time, did an exceptional job on the coaching staff. Hull Keano Ward it.
Matty, you're off.
A good young British coach.
Meadows gets the kick away. Picked up by Makinson. And Makinson looking to try and find his way through. Carney with the tackle.
You're working that 10,
We're
boys.
just about to enter the final quarter of this game. You can see a lot of work done by the outside backs. There'll be an element of fatigue in the middle, but almost those players, as you can see James Bell taking it forward with support, are getting ready for the downhill. They're getting ready for that last quarter.
Sirenen, knock on. Lovell in there with the tackle. What a servant he's been, Will Lovell, by the way, the Broncos captain, nearly 150 games.
Well, that ball
Davison was in there, did well.
The ball comes loose, doesn't it? Because the tackle is in or around the ball. And Big Cyril loses his grip.
He's in back play. Let's go, 10 seconds. We're getting on with it.
Coaching staff look on. They won't want it to get messy and scrappy come the back end of the game.
Heads in. Head down, no. Stay in.
It's important, even on round one, that they show as much professionalism as possible.
1.
Here's Maludi.
Give me a step. Give me a step. Matt, hold. Go, Marcus.
Matt Davis, who's come on as hooker. Great little story. He's played at Oxford, London Scholars. He's played at Coventry. He actually played off the bench all the way back in 2018 when, you remember, London won the £1 million game 4-2, 2 goals to 1 in Canada against Toronto. That's how long he has been involved with the Broncos. That's a long time ago, isn't it? But this is good. This is good. Here's Carney now down that touchline, kick inside, chases on, and it's picked up well by Wellesby. But a bit more sign of aggression and intent. Hour gone. Saints leading 26-4.
Well, London managed to find a little bit of space on the edge. But who's the player in the screen making the tackle? Johnny Lomax, the captain, the skipper, the leader. Leads by actions, and Elias McCartney thought, I've got this fella, I've got him outstripped, I've got the old man with my pace. But you can't match his commitment.
Well, Lomax signed up till 2026. Of course, Saints announcing 24 hours ago that Mark Percival also signed up long-term. Jack Wellesby is, Lewis Dodd is, Darrell Clark's 3 years. It's that spine you talk about.
Yeah. It's a good place to play your rugby league at the minute, St Helens. Why would you want to leave? It reminds me a lot of Leeds Rhinos in their dynasty. A host of system-trained players, some overseas quality. And then if you sprinkle in some determined players, Darrell Clark at the back, not at the back end of his career, at the peak of his powers, but over 30 certainly. It just is the perfect ingredients for a really determined bunch.
I hope you're not including yourself in the Leeds Rhinos dynasty.
Stand down.
Speechless.
Well, if I don't, nobody else will.
High tackle.
Yeah, high tackle it was.
Yeah, there's rapid loss of height, but you've got to keep it down, mate.
That's all.
Avoid that
Penalty.
height up there, Darrell.
That's a high tackle.
James.
Well, that's one of them where it is high, but the player's always going down.
So that's all it is.
Yeah.
It's all to do with mitigating factors, the new high tackle rule, as whether it's just a penalty.
Yellow
sin
card,
bin,
red card. I like that because it shows that the referee can look at it. He doesn't have to make a black and white decision. He can judge it on how fierce or how forceful or how much intent there is in the tackle and make, for me, make the punishment fit the crime.
Lovell, the skipper. Davis at dummy half. And a set restart. Here is Kennedy. Again, good field position this for London. Ball comes out of the back door to the try scorer, Story.
Still more defenders than there is attackers. St Helens number up better than their opponents, don't they?
Good stuff on the far side. Maloney's with an opportunity here. Goes for the line, and Saints survived. But there's the man. It was Lomax and Wellesby in with the tackle. There's a kick through from Campagnolo, but too much on it. But Saints racing out of the defensive line there, and in the end indebted to Lomax and Wellesby because Maloney spotted an opening.
For me, it's not the right option. Saints map really well. They commit numbers, they chase really hard. So any gap, any space there was, they shut that down immediately. A kick behind the line, it's really difficult to fix.
Don't pull him to ground.
And then they give the penalty away to play the ball. So they've gone from a try-scoring opportunity, attacking their opponent's line, to giving away a penalty, and before you know it, they'll be defending their own 20-metre line.
Yeah, Lovell, the guilty man. 20 points to nil at half-time. Well, Saints lucky to get the ball back there.
Let's play on.
It is play on. Ben Davis.
Well,
Blake at dummy half.
You can't fault London, can you? They tried their best to keep that ball in play. Thunderous charge from Alex Walmsley. There it is, batted back inside, but Saints pick it up.
And here is Bell again. He's another contracted for another couple of years. Darrell Clark, influential and try-scorer on his debut. Clark with the offload to Walmsley. A try-scorer in the first half.
Oh, there's a knock-on at the play of the ball.
I think he's lost the ball. Saints are not happy. Walmsley isn't happy.
He's shaking his head.
On.
I think that's the first mistake that Alex Walmsley has made. He's got 4 defenders around him. As you can see, they take him to the line. They're all over him. But he has to get up, regain his feet, play the ball properly. He's got to look after the pill.
Spot on. It's his responsibility. Look at these scores. Huddersfield in front against Lee. 12 points to 4, and Leeds are back level once more against Salford. Terrific game at Headingley.
Broncos make a mistake.
Yeah,
from the scrum. There was a push at the scrum from St Helens.
Yeah,
I think that's why the pass was a little bit scruffy. You can see it's dipping. McCartney drops it.
It's an old-fashioned skill these days, isn't it, in rugby league at the top flight, the push at the scrum.
It's just about not giving up. Just because they've got the ball doesn't mean you can't find a way to contest and try and get it back. Mike Eccles, you know, reviewing this game, there'll be plenty of things they can look at and say, do you know what, we can learn from that. Be tight at a scrum, be prepared for a push, and they won't catch us by accident.
Ben Davis. Kershaw holding his head. Looks to be okay. Here is the big man again. They're going to
stop it, you know. They're going to stop it. He's all over the place, Lee Kershaw.
They may have to stop it. He's in trouble here, Lee Kershaw. But Saints, a bit sloppy. Here is Siranen looking to offload. Davis has been really impressive with Anabai making the tackle.
Well, the crowd are getting restless. They want play stopped, I think.
Before Lewis, leave the ball there. There's blood, mate. Duty of care.
Yeah, I think it will be stopped because of a head injury.
It's sensible.
Just leave it on.
Take a look at Lee Kershaw. I don't know whether there's any blood. I don't know whether there's a cut. but he was certainly stumbling around when he came out and tried to regain his position out on the wing.
There's blood though. Okay.
Unless the doctor's on the field,
So
can't stop play.
He needs to get cleaned up.
Yeah, I think we can hear there the referee pretty concerned about Lee Kershaw, and of course they will not take any chances, will they?
Thank you, Marcus. Thanks, man. Tackle for Lewis. God, for the ball.
Story, the try scorer, Lee Kershaw. Yeah, he'll go off for an HIA, but I'd be very, very surprised if he can come back on. Head injury assessment for the winger, and that'll be a blow, another blow for London, who've been hit hard by injuries, because if he fails his HIA, then he won't be able to play for a couple of weeks.
Well, you can see in the back line now as they're trying to organise who plays where. So obviously they've lost a winger, so to reshuffle that back line, you can see there's a little bit of confusion. And Story, the try scorer, is just at the top of your screen, receiving some attention, getting a bandage put on what I think is a cut over the top of his eye. But we're going to play on.
14 minutes to go. Saints led 20 points to 0 at half-time. 6-4 in the second half in Saints' favour, but it may be a little bit more here, and it's a try on debut from a local lad, Matt Whitley, and the big smile says it all. Whitley, who was released by Saints as a teenager, is back, and he's back try scoring on his debut, and Saints make it 30 points to 4.
Yes, a wonderful try. Matt Whitley's one of the best players, going right up to the line and almost in the line sometimes when he catches the ball. It's a poor read in defence from James Meadows, but just rewards for the back row, who's worked hard this evening, backed himself to come to his hometown team, knowing the players in front of him. He offers that element of utility because he can play in the back row, he can play in the centre, he can play as a loose forward. You get near enough the same output from him. He's a terrific player. 30 points to 4 with just over, 12 minutes to go. And Saints went at the side where Lee Kershaw left. Yeah. We could see all the shuffling around and the uncertainty, who's defending, 2 in, 3 in. Well, the smart people in the red V-shirts went, we're going there.
And where Story had just been receiving treatment as well for a cut to the head. Mark Percival off the field, so Tommy Makinson will be attempting the conversion midway between the posts and the corner flag. 30 points to 4.
Come on.
And Makinson, that looks good from here. That looks very, very good. And Saints extend their lead with 12 minutes to go. 32 points to 4, and what a night it will be to celebrate for Matt Whitley.
A really good performance from the back row. He's defended well. It was a good offload that put away. I think it was Jack Wellesby who ultimately got over for the try from the offload. But a good evening and a good debut from Whitley and Darrell Clark.
Mark Percival off the field, not injured. He is being rested. A lot to learn for Mike Eccles, the Broncos coach. You know, it's a great story. It's only 17 months ago that Eccles took over reluctantly as the caretaker coach for London when Jermaine Coleman departed. His first game in charge was all the way up in Workington, who were bottom of the table. They got absolutely hammered, and 17 months later, he took his team into Super League.
he's a good manager of men, isn't he? He's got a vision. He understands what he wants from his team, but he also needs that buy-in.
The Saints going again on that far side. They've got options either way. They've got lots of options, and it'll be a try for Johnny Lomax, the captain. He's taken over as Saints captain from James Roby. And Johnny Lomax, who made his debut 15 years ago. There's life in the old dog yet, as you said. Lomax gets another, and Saints are now running riot.
Well, they opened them up, didn't they? St Helens over on that right side. Lovely pass to Conrad Hurrell. London Broncos took the gamble, attempted the intercept, but when Hurrell breaks the line, I'd like to know the stats on how many line breaks have resulted in tries, because I know that's a big focus for St Helens in 2024, making sure they convert chances into points.
I swear he was smiling as he broke through the tackle.
He's always smiling. He's a very, very happy boy.
He's a real character, isn't he, Conrad Hurrell? Has made a real effort, Hurrell, to get super fit during the off-season, because you may remember he was left out of a few games at the end of last year by Saints. They thought he probably wasn't as fit as he should be, but he's an impact player. His third year here. Had a disappointing spell all in all, didn't he, with Leeds, but he's come alive here.
I think if you ask anybody on the terraces at the Rhinos, they'll say he gave good value. He integrated himself into the culture, the squad, the community. I don't think Leeds went well, so that meant that when he played and they didn't win, then, you know, some of those bigger players, they often get the fingers pointed at them. Is that a misconversion?
How on earth did he miss that?
I think we're having a bad kick competition in round one, aren't we?
Yeah. That was nearly in front of the post. I think you might have kicked that.
Well, I was just going to say...
You really might have, have kicked that.
That's the most overused phrase of the weekend.
Stay on, Matt.
Yeah, well, Hull KR had a nightmare, didn't they, with Eva Hiku. And do you know what? It's so important that we've seen down the years in big games, goal kickers win big games.
It just goes to prove it's not a skill you can learn overnight.
No. Practice as much as you want. When it comes out to the 80 minutes.
Those good players who can kick and do kick embrace the pressure, and they want the moment when the game's in the balance and they need 2 points to take it to a draw or 1 point to take it to a win.
Well, this is the Saints start. Next weekend at Huddersfield, and 3 in the next 4 at home. Lee, Salford, and of course the big Good Friday clash against the arch rivals Wigan. Sandwiched in between, tough trip, what a game that will be to Leeds. And this is how the London Broncos will fare. First home game at Wimbledon, Catalan at home, and 3 out the next 4 at home. Wigan, Warrington and Huddersfield, with a trip in between to Hull FC. Tough, isn't it? It looks tough.
It is, but the players have prepared for months and months and months. They've set those markers and those weekly spikes and peaks to the week. They know what they're doing. You might have picked up on the microphones. The big round of applause was for Darrell Clark. He's just left the field. 72 minutes on the clock on his debut, and indeed Jake Wingfield is going to drop in at hooker now.
A bit of cramp there for Ollie Leyland.
And it's a shame because the players that we talked about before the game, Dean Parata being one of them, just haven't had chance to impose themselves. Done a lot of defending, and it's been scrappy at times for them. I'm sure we'll see more from them as the season develops.
Well, play on, says the referee. Campagnolo puts the ball forward, and the football skills, they do play at Wimbledon's ground, but the London football skills have been decent, haven't they? Well, it's taken by Maloney. Maloney, has he managed to get the ball down? Wow, drama at the end there. The referee will say he didn't. The ball has gone dead.
Stay on!
Great effort there from Maloney.
Hold!
But it is a restart. Saints will get it back.
As we know, anything can happen round Maludi. But he didn't like it, Jack Wellsby, did he? He got right back in, made the tackle and forced the mistake. That would have been play on.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the replay shows there. What a good tackle that was from Wellsby.
He's a competitor, isn't he? As well as he's fast, he's skillful. You know, it's the will to work. It's the desire to never give up. That's what makes Jack Wellsby such a good player.
Marcus not square, that means restart. If they're not square, just to remind you, inside the 40, either end of the field, it's a penalty. Otherwise, it's a set restart. It's one of the new rules that's been brought in for 2024. 5 minutes or so to go. St Helens leading by 36 points to 4. Here is Big Al again. Walmsley going through, shrugs off the challenge of Butler. Wingfield at dummy half. Wellsby puts the ball through, and it's another try for Matt Whitley for St Helens. Whitley strikes twice in the space of 8 minutes, and St Helens stretch their lead once again. What a debut it's been for Whitley, and it's been a fairly decent opening night for St Helens.
Haven't the debutants done well? Darryl Clark, outstanding in the number 9 shirt, and then Matt Whitley, particularly at the back end of the game. Everybody's talked about the recruitment of Wigan, and I'm one of those that think Wigan are stronger in 2024 than they were last year. But just on the quiet, Saints have made some key signings. Darryl Clark and Matt Whitley are going to make a massive difference to the way that this side performs week in, week out. And as I said, one of the best in the game at catching the ball at the line or sometimes in the line of defence.
40 points to 4, 4 minutes to go, and there'll be a happy coach's box for Messrs Wellens, Fresinu and Smith. Player of the match decision coming up soon. Have a think about it, Barry. And we will be hearing from the player of the match before we go off air tonight here at the TW Stadium. 15,000 in for the opening night. Not quite sure what we're going to get from Tommy Makinson. Had one great kick, one poor kick. And which one will this be?
Oh, another one.
Oh,
another one.
He's missed another one.
Yeah.
Wow. So it stays at 40 points to 4. That was a long way wide.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell it's early on in the season, can't you? Some of the things just slightly off, but that isn't off. Commitment in the support line and a beautifully weighted pass. Talked about the accuracy of passes, the weight of passes.
Okay, staying on, boys.
Well, of course, it is worth mentioning the new era for Super League on Sky Sports. All the games, every week, live.
Hold. Go.
And the player of the match on the opening night here in St Helens will be chosen by Barry McDermott.
Thanks, Rob. Well,
I think there's been a number of top performers. I think Alex Walmsley in 2 spells has done really well. Matt Whitley with 2 tries and a couple of key performances or key involvements in tries. But for me, with all the pressure on him, with all those career appearances under a belt, I don't think he'll have been as nervous as he was tonight. Darryl Clark is my Betfred man of the match.
I concur. Yeah, great debut.
Good.
Great debut, absolutely. As you say, the pressure on his shoulders, and he's been excellent. Little kick over there by Lewis Dodd.
Surrender. Stand up.
London have given it their all. They've just lacked a bit, haven't they? Especially with ball in hand, but they'll get better. They'll acclimatise, and you know, these are the games where things won't be won and lost as far as the season is concerned for the Broncos.
Yeah, I think coach Mike Eccles will be looking at the character of his side. Who's given up who's looking for the long grass, who's not as interested because the scoreboard isn't in their favour. Well, I can't say that any of these London players have given up. They showed commitment to the cause, to each other and to the team. So although the scoreboard is against them and they have been outclassed, I don't like using outclassed, but they haven't had the right tools come the right end of the field, but they've continued to work hard and try.
Daniel Blake picks the ball up for. So when you look at the likes of Matt Davis, Jordan Williams, Marcus Stock, Sam Davis, Meadows, you know, Leyland, they've got the basis. I just wonder whether they'll be tempted to recruit or not. But their owner, David Hughes, continues to pour an enormous amount of money into the club.
Play on, stay out of the way.
Well, David Hughes' commitment. I've talked about the players on the field. David Hughes for 20 years plus.
Without David Hughes, there wouldn't be a London Bronco.
I agree. I concur with you. There you go. We're both agreeing. We'll have to stop this, Pike. It's only the first day, though, isn't it?
It's a long season. Last minute, Saints leading 40 points to 4.
Oh, wow.
Well taken again. He's been a shining light, hasn't he? Without a shadow of a doubt, Ollie Lehman for London tonight.
Surrender on the left.
His story.
Stand up, Marcus.
Night to remember. Signed from the Keighley Cougars, given his big chance in Super League and scores a try on debut, albeit in defeat rather, but it's a night he will remember. Meadows.
3. Alex out.
Well, a penalty against Walmsley, right on the hooter. So one more play. Campagnolo finds touch.
Come on.
That's it, I'll give it a go. Maybe a Hail Mary on the last play of the game on this opening Friday night of Super League. But there's no joy there for Dean Perata. And that is that on the opening night. St Helens, who won 4 consecutive Super League titles, lost in the semi-finals in the south of France last October, but they're off and running on the opening night. And what a debut it is for Darrell Clark in the Red V of St Helens. He is the player of the match, and we will be hearing from him before we go off air. A dominant St Helens performance. They led by 20 points to 0 at half-time. And they have beaten the London Broncos back in Super League for the first time in 5 years by 40 points to 4.